This is Ryan Abraham, Dan Weber, USCFootball.com instant analysis here from the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where USC defeated Boston College 35-7. Looked like two different teams from last week to this week, Dan. The offense played so much better.
Two different game plans, two different approaches to the quarterback. You had a quarterback all week, decided last Sunday. A very good offensive approach, according to everybody on both the offense and defense, starting Monday. Much more confidence in practice. Coach Kiffin was confident and loose. All the things that he wasn't and they weren't last Saturday, they were today. I mean, not the greatest team in the world, but not a bad team, and no problems. They didn't have any problems, and Cody Kessler played as well as you could want a quarterback to play. There wasn't any reason probably not to feel confident that Cody Kessler couldn't make plays, which makes the Washington State game a little more inexplicable.
Certainly, and Cody Kessler, first incomplete pass we actually heard from Lane Kiffin saying, Max Nikia said, throw the ball deep. The fans will cheer anyway. It was incomplete, but they did cheer. It was a big cheer, almost the biggest cheer of the day. 14 straight completions after that for Cody Kessler. It just seemed like the offense flowed a lot better with him throwing the ball down the field.
And even though that threw Marquise off, he said, I dropped the ball. What were they cheering for? But then they completed 14 straight passes, and then you thought, that guy probably does deserve to be the first-string quarterback, and probably deserved to be it a month ago. I mean, and it's hard to look back. I know Lane is going to keep saying the best we could be is 2-1, and we're 2-1, and we go from there. But it'll still take a while. I mean, I thought the crowd, and Lane did a good job, I think, of at least really honoring not only his players but the fans who showed up here, and maybe the ones, that were booing last week and the ones that left early didn't come back. They announced the crowd at 62,000. Not a terrible crowd considering the noon start and what happened last week. But I think Lane was right to say, they really looked like they wanted to be positive and wanted to root this team on and wanted to have good things to cheer about, and they did.
Speaking of positive, the running game, Trey Madden, third straight 100-yard rushing game for him. The last Trojan to do that was 1981 Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Allen, who went into 12 straight games like that. But also Justin Davis had some really elusive runs, breaking tackles, making guys miss. The running game really worked today.
Yeah, and then you can throw Buck Allen in there too. I mean, he's got, although, we're kidding him and saying, you're not going to get to score the ball in the red zone. You better take it in from 50, Buck. But that gives them, a 1-2-3 punch. Silas Red not in uniform again. They keep saying, but he's not ready yet. But those three are. And also give Ty Isaac, who got a couple of carries at the end of the game, credit for being the big, 230-pound back who resembled, the Williams kid from Boston College and got him ready to tackle, a 230-pound tailback.
They did a really good job of tackling that 230-pound tailback. Not a lot of big negative plays like sacks and interceptions, but certainly they stuffed the run. They did a good job putting pressure on the quarterback. Overall, a good defensive performance. They just missed the shutout when the reserves came in, but they played really well overall.
Yeah, and without a senior quarterback, smart kid, Chase Reddick, and a Southern California kid, knew what he was in for. He really did a great job just to stay alive on those plays, just to get the ball out, threw it. Didn't want to take a sack and did everything he could to, avoid a sack, including, I'm confident, one time throwing the ball after he got past the line of scrimmage. He took off once, and he did get a decent run, and they said, the Boston reporters were asking him, do you think you could take it all the way? And he said, not a chance. Those guys are way too fast. And basically that was he said they gave us way too many bad plays on first down. So he said, when you try to run the ball and you're 2nd and 10, he said, that really hurts. That makes it very difficult for what Boston College is trying to do. So, the way USC plays the run most of the time, as long as they can handle that big power coming right at you, this might be a good thing. You're looking down the road at Stanford as another team that, plays that way.
And last thing, 10 penalties for 100 yards is kind of some of the USC of old. Certainly cost at least one touchdown. It truncated some other drives, extended some drives for Boston College. What do you think about the penalties?
They were not good. I mean, I think the penalties thing is, the really important thing about the penalty thing is, do they nip it in the bud? Do they really finish it off this week? Last year it took 8 weeks. Then they finished it off. I mean, they were, the worst team in the country penalties. And then they, really went, rocketed past like half the Pac-12 now. Obviously, the bottom teams are going to be the Pac-12. I thought a couple of the, flags today were kind of silly, but some of them USC just has to learn. They're gonna call it. Don't do it. If you're there late, you don't need to throw that last block in the back. You don't need to, they're just, there's some comments that they were trying to play really hard, really fast, maybe didn't quite get there all the time. I guess, one time you say, okay, we'll go with it one time. Just don't ever do it again.
So, well, certainly a marked improvement over last week's game against Washington State, of course. Let's go wrap it up here from the Coliseum. For Dan Weber, this is Ryan Abraham. Check out uscfootball.com for more.